For weeks, the courtroom was a place where silence spoke louder than words, where every glance and every breath carried the weight of secrets long buried beneath layers of power and fame. The atmosphere crackled with tension, fueled by sealed documents, hushed conversations, and testimonies that slowly peeled back the glittering facade of an industry built on image, but riddled with shadows. The media circled like vultures, the public watched breathlessly, but nothing could prepare anyone for the moment the judge's voice sliced through the room, steady and resolute. A new video statement has been submitted and is admissible. Then, looking pointedly at the defense table, he declared, "The witness is Miley Cyrus." In an instant, the courtroom froze. Pens hovered mid-air. Jurors blinked in disbelief, leaning forward as if trying to grasp the impossible. And even Diddy, whose reputation had long seemed untouchable, revealed a flicker of unease behind his carefully maintained composure. Miley Cyrus, a name synonymous with youthful stardom, rebellion, and reinvention, had guarded the darkest chapters of her past with fierce determination. But now she was stepping into the harsh light of scrutiny to tell a story that many had tried to keep hidden. The night in question was 2009, a summer evening at Diddy's sprawling Malibu mansion, a party so exclusive that phones were banned and cameras forbidden, where power was wielded behind closed doors and silence was enforced as strictly as security. Among the blurred faces caught on a grainy, decades-old video was a teenage Miley, arms crossed and eyes guarded, pressed against a cold marble wall as if trying to disappear from a world that made her feel profoundly unsafe. The defense tried to dismiss the image as just another industry snapshot, but the jury saw through the veneer. They saw a young girl, overwhelmed by a carefully curated environment meant to isolate and intimidate. The judge swiftly rejected all attempts by the defense to delay or suppress the video testimony, insisting that the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, deserved to be heard. As Miley's voice filled the courtroom, she spoke not as the confident pop star the world adored, but as a vulnerable teen who had felt the gnawing instinct that something was deeply wrong. She recalled being invited upstairs to meet Diddy, an invitation she declined, choosing instead to escape to the fresh air outside and text her driver to pick her up early. Her memories were sharp. The too-wide smile of the man at the stairs, the heavy, dark music upstairs, the sensation of being watched rather than welcomed. For years, she had buried these memories, too afraid to speak out in a world where silence was safer than truth, where speaking up risked being branded difficult or ungrateful.
Supporting her courage was a deeply personal letter from her father, Billy Ray Cyrus, a heartfelt plea urging her to trust her instincts, to protect her truth, and to know that her safety was paramount. A letter she carried close even on the night she left that mansion, a beacon in the dark. The courtroom's perception shifted. Miley was no longer a distant superstar, but a scared teenager fighting to be heard. The defense, once confident and poised, faltered under the crushing weight of genuine emotion and undeniable memory. Next came Elise Monroe, a former background vocalist whose promising career was inexplicably derailed. She described her experience. At another private gathering where young women were corralled into dimly lit lounges, laughter forced and hollow, eyes darting nervously as powerful men silently assessed and controlled the room. Elise spoke of panic and escape, and of a cryptic note passed between girls that simply read, "Ava, get out." Her story echoed Melissa, testament to the fact that sometimes fear alone is enough to make someone run. Then Rico, once a member of Diddy's inner security detail, broke his silence for the first time publicly. He revealed the chilling truth of his role not just to protect, but to enforce the boundaries that kept the powerful safe and the vulnerable trapped. He confessed to escorting Miley only to the base of the stairs, asking if she wanted to go further. and respecting her refusal but also to being paid hush money as a loyalty bonus, underscoring a system designed to keep questions quiet and doors locked. Angela Flores, Diddy's former event coordinator, stepped forward to explain the intricate system behind these events, color-coded wristbands dictating movement and access, guest lists carefully curated to isolate minors like Miley 2 Green, zones away from restricted areas, and a network of staff whose job was to maintain an illusion of control while allowing dangerous dynamics to flourish. The prosecution then laid bare evidence from security logs riddled with suspicious gaps, camera blackouts strategically timed to conceal critical moments, and internal memos referencing star bubble clearance, a code word for the secret. Spaces where young talent was corralled and protected only from scrutiny, not from harm. The courtroom was transformed from a battleground of legal argument into a confessional of pain and courage, where each witness's story dismantled the defense's narrative and exposed a pattern of systemic abuse and silence that spanned years. On the trial's final day, Miley's words echoed once more. "I wasn't hurt. I wasn't touched. I wasn't trapped, but I felt it." Those simple yet profound words became the cornerstone of the jury's understanding, signaling that instinct and memory were not just feelings, but vital truths demanding recognition. After hours of deliberation, the jury returned with verdicts that sent shockwaves through an industry long resistant to change guilty on multiple counts, including conspiracy to endanger minors and obstruction of justice. The courtroom remained solemn, the collective breath long held finally released. Outside, a young girl stood holding a sign that read, "I don't need proof to leave the room," a poignant symbol of the shift from doubt to belief, from silence to acknowledgement. Miley Cyrus never sought to be a symbol, but by trusting her gut, breaking decades of silence, and sharing her truth when it mattered most, she helped rewrite the narrative, teaching the world that safety is not something proven by evidence alone, but something we owe to protect, to listen to, and to honor from the very first whispered instinct. And from this day forward, when a girl says, "I felt it," we must listen, believe, and act.